In this video, let's talk about some philosophy behind Vue.js. It is a design pattern called Mvvm. It stands for Model, View, View Model, as you can see in this picture. The whole idea of Mvvm is for separative concerns. In other words, we do not want to mix everything together. In particular, in Vue, Mvvm separates the development of UI, in our case HTML, from the development of business logic or backend logic. So let's take a look at the three concepts in this picture. The first M in Mvvm means model. In Vue.js, model is a plain JS object. V means view, or in our case, DOM of HTML page. VM means view model. I know this is an awkward name. I would rather call it a binder. I'll explain why. So a view model in Vue.js is the newly created instance of view. If you remember that on a view page, we have a new view. It's kind of dry to simply talking about the three boxes here. So let me show you how we can relate the three concepts into our code. So here is a very simple view example. I think everyone is familiar with the structure. On top, we have HTML, and here we have script. In the script, we created an instance of view using new view and assigned it to app. In the constructor here, we declared an object called data. Inside, we have message equal to hello view. When we render this in browser, this mustache notation will be replaced with hello view. That's the magic part of view. Can we relate view, view model, and model to this piece of code? As I said, M is the model. It means the plain JS objects. And in this case, this model refers to the data object we defined here. So right now, we only have one model, is message equal to hello view. The V is the view. It means our DOM. And in this case, it refers to the div with ID equal to app. So what is our view model? Or remember I said I prefer to call it binder. In this case, the view model is the newly created view instance. We got Mvvm. In Vue.js, models, or this blue part here, are simply plain JS objects. Once an object is used as data inside a view instance, that's this green area, it becomes reactive. You can manipulate their properties, and the view instances that are observing them will be notified of the changes. View, or in this gray area, means the actual DOM that is managed by view instances. So in this case is the div with ID equal to app. If you remember this syntax here, el equal to app. So we let view take over this. So that's the view part. So when using Vue.js, you rarely have to touch the DOM itself, like jQuery or native.js. The next important concept is VM, or view model. I know this is not a very good name, and sometimes confusing. I prefer to call it a binder, because that is the responsibility of view model. That's right. View model acts like a glue between view and model. The view model will bind the data in the model to the view. It is responsible for correctly displaying all the models in the view. So this is the primary object that we as developers will be interacting when we create a front-end page. We have learned Vue for a while, but I do not want you guys to forget backend. So I'm going to put Mvvm together with our backend so you can see everything in one picture. So that's our ultimate architecture. So on the front end, we're using this concept called Mvvm. That's the design pattern or the architectural pattern for the front end. On the back end, we have a Tomcat server. In this course, we're using Java. We're using servlets. So you may wonder that where do we get this model? And once we have the model, where do we send it to? The answer is front end is talking to back end using JSON. So let me show you a scenario. If you are going to retrieve 50 users from the database, so what happens is we can use Axios or other AJAX technology to make a request to Tomcat server. And the server will retrieve the 50 users, serialize them to JSON, and then send it back to front end and save in this model. The responsibility of view model, or we call it binder, will bind the data we received from the server into view. So this is totally separate of concerns. Different components are doing different things, and they collaborate nicely. On the other hand, if we collect some data from the view, and this binder or view model will bind the data we get from the view into model, and then we can launch Axios or AJAX request to the server. For example, we're saving a new user. So I think of this data as a hopper that is ready to receive cargo or send out cargo.